The Promised Neverland is an anime and manga of many mysteries. From its outset, it has intrigued its audience with layers upon layers of puzzles and clues, truths hidden within truths, even as the manga speeds a bit too speedily to apart from the rest, taunting us with a cute, curled grin. That enigma's name is Phil. And tonight, on Unsolved Annie Mysteries, we will be uncovering the dark truth hidden behind his bright, seemingly innocent smile. To do so, we'll need to look at clues in both the anime and the manga, as the adaptation changes not just how the Promised Neverland story is presented, but also the details of the story itself. Those changes are significant and, I believe, quite intentional, as the manga's author, Kayu Shirai, has made a point of pointing them out. If you're only familiar with the anime, worry not. We don't need to spoil any plot points from after its ending to make this case. I will need to reveal a single detail from a later chapter, but I'll warn you when that's coming, and it's nothing you can't predict from the end of the anime. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty of this mystery, I need to give credit and thanks to the love of my life, Yazzie, who is a much bigger Promised Neverland fan than I am and spent weeks pushing me to read this manga after the anime ended. She was absolutely instrumental in solving this mystery. It was her idea to investigate Phil to begin with. She uncovered much of the evidence in the anime, and especially manga, that supports this video's conclusions, and she figured out that the truth only starts with him. Now, she declined to participate in this video on the grounds that the whole Unsolved Mysteries gimmick is, quote, super cringy, seriously don't do that, but she's got a lot more to say about the entire series and the many mysteries and clues hidden within it than I do. And if you'd like to start reading the manga alongside someone, which I cannot recommend enough, and you can do for just $2 a month if you download the Shonen Jump mobile app, she'll be discussing it arc by arc over on her channel. But he is the linchpin of one of the biggest surprises in a series full of big surprises. In the very last episode, while trying to figure out what to do with the younger children and babies when the older kids escape, Emma calls Phil into the infirmary to finally let him in on the secret. And shockingly, he responds,
やっぱりそうだったんだね。
It's damn near unbelievable. With just a few clues, first hearing Crone mention the harvest in their game of tag, then seeing her snooping through Ray's stuff, and finally noting Emma's terrified reaction to Norman leaving, this preschooler was able to piece together the entire secret on his own. He is a pretty capable preschooler, to be fair. Despite having just started taking the house tests when he turned 4, Phil's average weekly score is already 203 when the story begins, which puts him in the same mental ballpark as the 10-year-old Dawn. And those hour-long tests, at least according to Isabella, are harder than trying to memorize the dossiers of 38 different kids all at once. Every Gracefield kid is smart, but Phil is, canonically, one of the smartest. He's also an attentive, thoughtful listener, and the manga and anime are both keen to establish this fact right as they begin. In the manga, when Gilda remarks that Norman, Emma, and Ray's central nervous systems might just be different from the other kids, Phil immediately chimes in to ask what a central nervous system even is, which is a pretty complex question for a 4-year-old. And in the anime, when everyone is discussing what they want to do when they leave the house, the camera focuses on Phil as he listens to all of them. He only reacts, though, when he realizes that Gilda and Dawn are about to fight, at which point he diffuses the tension with a carefully timed burst of impossible-to-ignore cuteness.
それってなんか失礼じゃない？
いや、そういう意味じゃ。
僕記者が見たい！
いいね、記者!
Either this is a calculated move, or Phil is a really slow thinker. And considering that he's the quickest to learn when Norman, Emma, and Ray start training the kids in tag, and he's the only kid with the wherewithal to watch the rear while they're hiding, it's pretty clear that he's not slow. Still, even for Phil, figuring out the entire secret based on just 3 pieces of circumstantial evidence is an impressive intellectual feat. I'd argue a little too impressive, actually. In keeping with that sly, deceptive behavior from episode 1, I believe that Phil has seen and heard a lot more than he's letting on here, and I think he's lying to Emma because he doesn't want her to worry about how much he knows, how he knows it, how long he's known it, and who else knows it.